All right. I said I wanted to explain a couple of things about backend engineering. One of the things we're going to do is that we're going to look at how the typical entry-level career trajectories for backend engineering, um, some of the skills you are required to have as a backend engineer, and maybe a couple of question and answers, right? So I want you to, um, if you have questions, if you have anything you want to ask, whether it is me or our guest here, that is Gideon, feel free to ask it in the comment section, right? Um, well, speaking about backend engineering, let me see if you can. Okay, I think you guys can still hear me. All right. So a backend engineer is simply someone who builds, right, and maintains a server architecture, right, of a website and majorly applications, right? So they are the behind the scenes guys, ensuring that the system is running smoothly, ensuring that um the would I call it the platform or the server is scalable, is making sure that the app that you're building or whether the website you are building is capable of, growing into something much more, right? So you find them also managing data on the server, managing API development, right? And, some security and authentication duties as well. So when you hear stuff like Python programming language, you hear stuff like Java programming language, um, you hear stuff like AWS, Microsoft Azure, and a lot of other things, right? The the backend engineering is just all about um, managing the backside of a website or application. So they're the one that make sure that most of the things you see running keeps running on the website, and it's quite an interesting and also tasking role, right? I'm sure Gideon will agree with me on that. So, guys, well, I guess I would ask this question after. First of all, let me introduce Gideon. Hi, Gideon. How are you doing? Give us a bit intro about yourself. Where you schooled, what states are you from? What state are you currently, and a couple of other stuff.
All right. Thank you, Oban. Good afternoon, everyone. Can you all hear me, just to be sure?
Yes, I
Yes, we
can.
can hear
Okay, good.
you.
Yeah, so it's nice to be here with you guys. Looking back now was, yes, in your shoes, trying to navigate what back engineering is, all for the love of, I just love infrastructure. I just love backend system. I just love something that has to do with logic. All right, that was my first interest, and that was what drafted me into backend engineering. All right, so my name is Gideon Issa. I'm from Kogi State. I schooled at Kogi State University. Now it's called Prince Aldo Abubakar University. I graduated uh, with 2-1 in physics. So your idea of logic and all computation has already been baked in me, right? Right in university. So I think when you have a love for logic here, I think you will definitely find yourself in back engineering. So so that's about a little about me. I don't know. Should I just give that then with my opponent response, or I should take over?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I wanted to also ask about
Okay.
um what are some of the programming languages you start with as a backend engineer,
All right,
right?
cool,
Fresh into the
cool,
system.
cool. So, in backend engineering, it's all about you talking to the server. When you talk about server, you talk about a computer which has a very high computing power. And since you are talking to a computer, all you need is a programming language. It could be any programming language. It could be Java. It could be C Sharp. It could be Python. It could be Node.js, which is a server runtime for JavaScript. It could be Python. It could be Golang. Yeah, those are languages that you can use and start a career in backend engineering. But now the question now comes to down to say, okay, look, how secured how scalable I want my backend system to be. That is when you now begin to say, okay, these are the language that should meet this needs. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then just walk us through how you found backend engineering since you studied physics in school, so it was quite one would expect that you become maybe a electrical engineer.
Yeah.
How did you find backend?
Yeah. All right. So currently like I currently I'm a backend engineer with Apatech Technology. Okay, I just um moved on from there, but I still take that as my reference point. So let me just go back a bit. So I started off as a quality assurance engineer or a software tester, like everybody would call it. I started off as a software tester, all because I want to get into tech. Get into tech because it's a very large place, right? This is more like
Mhm.
3% ocean, right? Get into tech, then find your way in. Now, the easiest way for me to get was then because things were not that open as we have today, like the invent of AI as our desktop, a lot of things. So then it was quite hard for us. So I just wanted to get into tech. So I started off as a quality assurance or a software tester. The more I went down into software development, I saw that my interest, right, was more in computation. Now, in secondary, yeah, university, I was all these physics mathematical guy. That's what was just in my mind. Those are like I saw myself doing such. But I think in 400 level, we were exposed to an elective course called computational physics, where our lecturer then introduced us a writing program. It was a simple program. That was my first time being exposed to anything called program. So he was like, okay,
Mm.
write a program on your sheets, telling this and this and this is what you want to do. I was like, okay, more like just an open question. He was like, okay, he gave us a quick, more like a quick example. Then said, okay, then write. I was like, okay, this is quite interesting. This is quite interesting. So that was when I was exposed to anything computing, having set of rules to arrive at a logical answer. Then I decided to say, okay, where is this coming from? Oh, it's coming from computer science. I then decided to go through some computer science textbooks in library, in 200 level. And I said, okay, there's something called programming, there's something called computer programming. It's not about, because while growing up, we thought programming is computer is about managing Microsoft Word, like Microsoft 360. We thought that was computing. We didn't know you could actually go down to the computing power and make what you want to do. So I was like, okay, that is good. So I think that's where it started off from. And from there, while I was in a software as a tester, okay, I was in Q. I was thought, okay, fine. I think that will satisfy my need, but no, I was still being drawn to backend engineering. I wanted to be part of those who are building infrastructures. We hear about infrastructures. We talk about SaaS, we talk about big application. So I started off right learning Java. Then after I went, that's what we're going to come on to later. I'll tell you my pitfall. I started off learning Java. From Java, I learned JavaScript, more like going from one programming language, spending 6 months just to see where I'm really inclined or where I find language more interesting to keep me
Mm.
hooked. So I went from Java to JavaScript, did some front end, Front end was not my thing. Designing, trying to put on, no. I was more in the computation, still referencing to what my lecturer exposed me then in university. So from Java to JavaScript, from JavaScript to Golang, from Golang to C Sharp. Then I now found my base in C Sharp. And I started off, when I started off was when I came to Conclave. That Conclave introduced me to C Sharp, which I'm grateful for. Then after Conclave, because of Conclave, I was able to opportunity to get an internship with FCMB. And with little time in FCMB, I didn't even stay much because I was deep. I've devoted myself in backend engineering, right? I got an offer. I moved to that place as their lead developer, so to say, because they were having only one developer. From that place, found myself cooking myself, and then again moving to Apata Tech Technology, where I was able to interface with foreign developers. It was a challenge. So now in all this, it was quite challenging because you'll be faced with errors. You'll be faced with, I don't know where this error is coming from, right? If it's front end, you should be able to see, okay, my buttons, this is not properly aligned, this is not looking good, I just need to adjust this. But for backend, you're talking to a terminal, more or less. So you are faced with a lot of challenges. Sometimes I stay late in the night, right? So it has been full of challenges trying to fix issues and build scalable application.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So it looks like you have a very in-depth passion for it, right?
Sure. Yeah.
So that's what's keeping you going, because for something that sensitive, backend engineering is a very sensitive stack, right?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
let's walk through your 6 months learning C sharp. C sharp, right?
Yeah, C sharp. C sharp.
Yeah, and I know that backend engineering has some kind of two folds. We split it into two folds. I think it was .NET and I can't remember the other one.
Java, Python, or front end,
Okay,
which
okay.
make me understand.
Okay, for front end we have React. We
Yeah.
have React.
Oh,
I
okay.
think it's
Yeah. I think I get your point now. Yes. Yeah, I get what you say. So
for
like
.NET it was for backend it was .NET and what again? I can't remember the other one.
I think was .NET and Node.js. I think we're having two
Yeah.
separate class. I was in the .NET class, so we were having
Okay.
the Node.js
Yeah,
class.
you're also in the J class. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
yes.
so how was .NET for you in the first 6 months, right? I mean, working with some other students as well. How was it like for you?
Okay, it was more of a mixed bag. Before the mixed bag was my team members were great. My well three team of three. So it was like
Okay.
you and me, let's work together, let's build this, let's do this, let's do this. And that was the fun. That was more like the grease in the engine that was making everything move smoothly. Now, learning the C sharp, we had a great tutor, Mr. Akwele, great, fantastic tutor. He was able to narrow down to the nitty-gritty of, look, this is how it works under the hood. This is how it works under the hood. And we really appreciated it. And that was also got me hooked in C sharp. Now, C sharp is a programming language. .NET is an environment where you have toolings to build applications, right? Now, learning C sharp for me then was really, I was working as a software tester. I remember I said so. So it was working daytime as a software tester and then moving at night, working on the weekend to learn C sharp and .NET. C sharp and .NET is an enterprise programming ecosystem per se language. So it's quite very large and huge. So it was more challenging in trying to build something with it. When we are given tasks of go and have this quiz or do this, we had to go research, we had to go do a lot of findings. So it was challenging that aspect of trying to build something of what you know. It's everything you know, if statement, functions, and all that. But how do you then make sense of it to develop the application? That was a challenging thing. And that really was a challenge to us. That really was a challenge. So it's a mixed bag. You have great people, great team, great instructor and community in concrete
Yeah.
start tech, yeah, that makes you, that encourages you, that gives you motivation to keep going, right? And that what made us to overcome, for me, to overcome learning C sharp. So it was quite challenging building something with C sharp. Yeah,
So you
yeah,
mentioned that C sharp or like .NET in
yeah,
general
yeah.
is for enterprise.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
What's the other
mm-hmm.
one for?
Come again, please. I didn't get you. For enterprise,
I
and what
said,
do you say?
yes, you said .NET is for enterprise. Is that
Yes,
correct?
yes, for enterprise.
So
Yeah.
the others like
Okay.
Node.js, what are they for?
Yeah, nowadays, engineering programming language are evolving. They are coming up with newer version. And newer version, they're introducing newer phases, right? Now, before now, or prior to 3 years, some language were missing some idea, some concepts, some types, so to say, that makes you to hold an enterprise application. Now, when I say C sharp, Java, those are the go-to language for enterprise application. I've been in I worked in FCMB. What they use is Java and C sharp for their backend
Okay.
system. Some of my friends in other places, what they use is Java and C sharp. Now, why is C sharp good for enterprise? Because of what we call interfaces. Right? You talk about interfaces, you talk about abstract classes. Those help you to abstract a complex object that can take hold of a payment system or a payment object. Right? Before then, you were not having interfaces in another programming language, or they were loosely typed. So you were having, like, for instance, in JavaScript, I'm not downplaying JavaScript. All right, for JavaScript, it's loosely dynamically typed, right? You're not sure of what is being returned. You're just guessing, oh, this function is going to return this value, and I'm going to pass this value into this. What if the function at that time returns something else? What happens to it? But for C Sharp Java, they are statically typed, meaning at compile time, they know what the value should be. It should be this interface. Okay, if it's this interface, I should be able to work with it. If it's this value, I should be able to work with it. Now, those are the things that made C Sharp good for enterprise application. Right? Statically typed, you have a lot of types like abstract interfaces to able to abstract complex concepts, right? But in JavaScript, it wasn't like that until the advent of classes and interface, and then TypeScript, which is a
Mm.
offset of JavaScript, which is now currently being employed by fintech applications, right? All those startup fintech applications, because they're like, okay, since if you can guarantee us the type in TypeScript, fine, it's good to build fintech application with it. So that's where C sharp shines. Yeah.
Okay. So if I'm going to understand you correctly, you were saying that some programming languages are older than some, right?
Yeah. No, they are quite old, but at the at when they came out, they were not having those types. But as time
Okay.
goes on, since they were old, since this is what they created them for, right? But you have to maintain a language. You have to kind of bring a new version. So as times went
Yeah.
on, they started introducing those things. So prior then, what they introduced them for was not for all those enterprise applications. So they were lacking
Okay.
all those things. But now they have them.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Can we use it? Can we give an illustration like this? The kind of English language that was spoken, say, 20 years back is slightly different from the one that we're going to be
Yes,
speaking. Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. We have
Uh,
new slangs, we have new way of
mhm.
representing our emotions and all.
Yes,
Yeah, I
absolutely.
get it now. I
Great,
think I get
great.
it now.
Yeah,
That's cool. So, do
yeah.
you remember the projects you worked on as a team? I mean, while in the
Wow.
academy?
Yes, we worked on health. Ah, dear Lord. Oh boy, you really. We worked on health. health pays, right? It was no, let me summarize the project, right? The project was to make an application that helped to manage those who want to keep track of their health habits. Maybe you want to keep track of your exercise routine, you want to keep time of when you eat, you want to keep time. So it's more like tracking, is an health related application that keep tracks on that. So the project was worked on by I think all companies team, the product team, backend for Node.js, C Sharp, React. So we all came together and we decided to take some of our reach for C Sharp, right? We were able to build the dedication and authorization, right?
Yeah.
Using C Sharp identity server because like I said, .NET is an ecosystem, right? So you have programming language C Sharp, you have other tools that you need. So one of the tools we call identity server, meaning I want to more like manage my identity, my user. So call them identity server. So we need to employ the application. We're able to employ some other things. So what we did for my own team was to build on the authentication authorization. Node.js was able to build on, I think, some other features. So that is a project we worked on. Yeah, I can't remember the name again, but that's what the project does. The product does right now.
Okay, makes
Yeah.
sense. And I mean, I'm guessing that your experience was cool.
Okay.
All
Yeah.
right, working with
Yeah.
every other stack and understanding how the organization,
You see,
how an
sorry.
organization works.
Yeah, sorry to cut you now. When we started off this stuff, right? Okay, you have the product managers, the product team coming to us with products. You have the project
Mm-hmm.
manager keeping track of that. You have the front end telling us, look, get me ready the API I want to consume. To me, it was strange to me. It was like, what am I going to do? Why is this guy bugging me? Why is this guy doing it? Why is this product this thing? I didn't appreciate that. But when I now
Mm.
entered into the review, I'm like, oh, this is what I was learning. This is what I was doing in the project with Concrete started. I was like, wow. So I was able to say, okay, yes, I'm expecting something from the product team. I'm expecting to meet specification. I'm expected to request for this from the product team. I'm expected to request from this from the front end. So it made my work so easy. I didn't know that was helping me. So it was fun. I were in a group in a group chat where all of us were just having to discuss issues and how to solve and how to change the requirements. It was what I was actually doing, what I'm doing currently now. Because I go back to
Yeah.
my product manager and say, look, this and this can work. This should be like this. So, and that's what we're doing this thing. But we thought we were just like being frustrated. No, no, no. That really exposed us, that made us to have a smooth starting in our career. Yeah,
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 actually.
yeah.
So I mean, it's nice to see how if you're committed to something,
Mm-hmm.
if you know that this is what you want to achieve,
Mm-hmm.
you have to be open to collaborations. You have
Exactly.
to have this mindset that for me to grow, I need to work with people
We work
because
with people.
even within the class of .NET, there are people who have different experiences learning .NET, and
Yes,
that can take them to learn something that you haven't learned, and working
yes,
together would mean that you guys share experiences. Oh, look
yes,
at what I found out when I was doing my
yes,
research.
yes.
So
Sorry to
it's so
let
beautiful.
me add this. Sorry, before you continue. We're three in the team, right?
Mhm.
Myself, Luis, and Timidayo, right? I did. Luis did authorization. I did authentication. But he
Okay.
needed to understand. So when I was in the authentication, for me it was it was good until I got to a point that I became stuck. I had to
Mm-hmm.
reach out in that same .NET team. I had to reach out to Moise, who was building the authorization, right? I said authorization.
Mm-hmm.
Who was building the authorization, but he now had to put me through. I was like, oh, this
Mm-hmm.
is how it's done. This is how it's done. Right, good. And when he was trying to also make use of my own, he had to come to me to ask and learn. So just to buttress when you said it's something you to make you to learn amongst even yourself, even within your team. Yeah,
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 yeah. I mean,
yeah.
that's good to see, and I see that grandma is also enjoying your speech.
Oh, wow, you saw. I came home to look at you just to spend time with my family since 2000. Yeah, so I'm
Shout out to
around.
you, grandma.
Yeah, yeah, thanks so much.
Anyway, so I wanted us to also talk about how your experience was as at FCMB Bank, right? How was your experience working in a finance sector and then going on into, I think the other sector you mentioned was more of like just was it an agency
That was
or
no. Currently, it's an agency. Then it was
okay,
a pension management company, Veritas. All right, it's a
okay,
pension man. So my experience in FCMB was mind blowing because I had to
okay,
work with a larger team. I was exposed to top standard way of handling code. Okay, in
okay,
sense that we're given a code base, given some period of time to study the code base. We're giving um, supervisors to watch over us, and if we have any question to relay our questions and our concerns to. At first, we started off learning. I had to pick up a new language which they call Code Fusion. And Code Fusion is it's a language for making dynamic web applications, right? Speedy, they just want to make something very smart. Code Fusion was used. So I was able to pick that language and build something with it with the team.
mm,
I worked with the data team, I worked with the data governance team. So when I was there, I was really feeling like a big boy, you know, working
mm,
with experienced engineers, people who are managing MCMP payment system, sitting side by side with them, asking them questions regarding payment, asking them questions regarding this. It was an eye opener, and I was able to see how these banks, these in high industry companies like FCM was able to operate. So that really gave me leverage, and on that, within some few months, I got another job because of the exposure, because of the experience I gathered within that short period of time. So
yeah,
it was a wonderful experience. A wonderful
yeah.
experience. Yeah.
It was nice to see. I mean, I was very excited when we
Yeah.
got that partnership with FCMB.
Great.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, when we talked before this meeting, you mentioned that, oh, you're trying to like take a career break, to
Yes.
rethink and
Yes.
then strategize about the way forward.
Yes.
What's
Yes.
what's it like for you? Just give us a brief, if you can, about
Okay.
okay, why the career break and what next?
Um, for me, I've been currently working with a foreign company, right? So I was engaging with some engineers in the UK. So
Yeah.
it was really tough. It was quite tough. You have issues. You have to resolve issues in matter of days. Issues that will
Mm,
require you maybe weeks. You have issue coming up as um, technical ones that spans not just your development now, but into infrastructure, managing your server, dealing with some external parties like Azure, like some cloud services, some proxy. So it was really great, right? And I when I saw it, I'm like, wow, okay, now this is now the engineering, right? This is now what engineers are they do over there. Like I was exposed because the company called Flashport, right? It's a recruiting agency that got me hooked up with that company in the UK,
okay.
right? So it's called Blatchford. Now, what they do is they get data from obstetrics. You know those people who have limbs, right? Those who don't have limbs, sorry, those who don't have limbs, they have all these robotic arms they wear, prosthetics like that, just to help them walk and make sense of their living. Now,
Yeah.
what the company did was to have it automated in such that they have to put some programming, they have to put some chips, some stuff that will send data from the prospect to their server. Then we make use of the data and we build applications for those stuff. So I was exposed to a large lot of stuff. And I'm like, So now this is engineering. I'm getting past writing code and building backend system. But I'm going to
Yeah.
write, I'm seeing infrastructure and I'm like, okay, fine. Let me take a break and then ground myself in some things and I'll be back. So now the essence of is to go deeper in um, backend system because backend engineering, you're talking about your code, you're talking about your database, you're talking about one server sitting in that place. So everything behind your website is backend engineering. Everything about your front end is backend. Is very huge. It's very huge. So I've started.
Mm.
So currently building my own payment system. And
Mm.
learning more on some other programming language like picking up Java. Yeah,
Yeah.
because those are enterprise languages, C Sharp, Java. You just have to have a mix of that as your experience, right? But one thing is stick to one language, go deep in that language. When you go deep in that language, to pick up other language, you just be an easy piece. You just be able to pick up the language. Picking up front end like Angular, just have a mix of the back. While I'm also learning those those distributed system, microservices, those large complex system. And I think
Yeah.
I'm making progress. And so we're just upskill, skilling myself. I haven't seen my family for 4 years, more than 4 years. So it's okay. I think I need a break. Yeah, break will be fine, and it will help me come and have a deep root in not just C sharp, but infrastructure, distributed system. So
Yeah.
I've been going well. I've been going well. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think
So
it's actually
currently I'm
go
building my
ahead.
payment system. Yeah, currently I'm building my payment system. So already making headway user application authorization, making using a third party, trying to make a robust system, play around with it
Yeah.
while I do that. And yeah, so it's fun. Who knows? I might even start my company soon.
Yeah. Make sure you hire me, bro.
Yeah, I will.
That's good to hear, really. And I'm sure that everyone here is rooting for you and wish you the very
Yeah.
best in
Thank
all
you
that
guys. Thank you guys. Thank you.
you are heading
Yeah.
towards. So, I mean, you gave a very interesting advice to people who want to learn, some
Mm-hmm.
programming languages,
Mm-hmm.
right? To stick to one and master it before diving into another one,
Yeah.
right? I mean, the concept of
Mm-hmm.
learning multiple things is usually weird to me, right? But there must be something. I know that
Sure.
the brain sometimes can try to you know see some things as boring at some point, and it get excited at new things,
Mm,
right? So
mm,
I try to
mm.
give the advice of, okay, say you feel like you get excited if you're learning something new. At least make sure that 80% of your focus is on the first one you started with till you feel a lot of confidence in it. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, okay,
Okay. I think for me, I think I lost you a bit, but
okay, okay.
continue. No problem. Continue.
Yes, I was explaining that, if you're learning something, at least try to gain some mastery level in one while you explore others. At least
In
give that
one.
at least
Yes.
80% of your focus. Then you can maybe do small things, on the side, but yeah, give that 80% of your focus. And I really, really like that. I don't know if you have any other advice
Exactly.
for, yeah, if you have any other advice for people
Um,
who might be in that,
let's
who might be looking to learn backend, who might be looking to learn Python. I'm sure that they are on this call as well.
yeah. Okay. Advice for me is this. Um, Now when you say back engineering, you are building infrastructure. Let me just start with that. You're building infrastructure, so you're building
Yeah.
databases. You're
Mhm.
sorry, you're not building database. You are uh,
You're managing.
having a yes, you're managing databases, you are designing databases, right? You are having to build applications, you're having to do APIs, right? And all these things is
Mhm.
just about talking to the computer, making like I want to talk to the computer I want the computer to do this and this and that. If your language can make you do that and that, that is one of the things I will start with. Please stick with one programming language. Don't say, oh, Node.js is really, really nice. I would love to learn Node.js. I've learned C Sharp, right? I was able to build API. Let me move on to Python and then build another application. Let build that this application. No, stick with one programming language. As far as you are talking to, you have a language that you know that you can speak to or talk to a computer to build this infrastructure, to build this database. Stick with that language. It doesn't matter. It could be C Sharp, Java, it could be Python, it could be Node.js, JavaScript. Stick with it because I said, my own case, I spent 1.5 years jumping from one programming language to another. At the end of the day, I was faced with an interview where I was asked some questions that if I have stayed with that programming language, I should have gone deep to understand those concepts in depth. And because I was jumping from Java, I went to Golang because Golang came out, was everybody was shouting Golang. So Java or enterprise, you want to work in the bank, you want to work in this thing, C Sharp. But when I come to C Sharp, like wait, all these things, because at the end of the day, they'll ask you, are you a backend engineer? Can you build this system? Any language of your choice. I was like, okay, fine. That's when I got, okay, let me set it down. And when I got stuck with C Sharp, not that because it's better than the other languages, no, just because I want to talk to the system. So I'm using C Sharp. Now, when you stick with that C Sharp, you go deep, meaning you have this horizontal, vertical growth, right? Don't have this horizontal growth while in the early stage. Don't try to spread your, no. Stick with that language, then sink yourself deep. Know what is asynchronous programming language. What the same thing you're having in C Sharp, the asynchronous programming is the same thing they're having in JavaScript, promise and all that. Because it's just talking to the laptop. They all have concurrency. So it's same thing. It's just syntax different. When you go deep, you need to build large system, and by the time you go, you become yourself. You call yourself a backend engineer. Yes, I can integrate with this third party. I can build this. I can set up my own. I can deploy my application. I can run my pipeline. That makes you an engineer, not just writing the code with fancy languages, but able to design. The word engineering, please mark that word engineering. You are trying to design, right? You could come and design your house with it. You decide with Marble, you can decide with another. Those are languages. You can design anything, but the major thing is the house. How is it structured? It cuts across all programming all language. So stick with one language. Go deep in that language. Build more applications. Know how the application talks well, how it talks well. By the time you have that concept, then you can now say, okay, fine. Let me build this application with C Sharp, or let me build it with Java. Oh, this is how they do this. Oh, I think this is ways you now begin to think like an engineer. So that is one thing I would say to you, that you want to stick and also be able to have love for back pain, able to stay close to your computer nights. I've been awake for hours, like through the night. I think I go to bed sometimes 3 o'clock in the morning because I'm faced with a bug, and my boss is like saying, you have to get this thing fixed, Gideon. I don't know. That's what all those managers that I don't know how you get it. Just get it fixed. You better get it fixed, or you have a clean way of conveying. That's where communication comes in, of conveying your problems and how you intend to solve it in some period of time. You should just have that. So you have it solved, or you have a reason, engineering-backed reason that you can solve this in those period of time. So you should have a love for backend to debug. I spent a day debugging, right? You must know how to manage your have system design. Like this house, you just don't, okay, I want to build a house. You must know, okay, what length should be the mirror, the window, the door, where should the door sit? Where should the window, what level? Should it be this low? If it's this low, a thief can just jump in, right? It has to be some certain height. Are there burglary proof? Where is the fan? Where is the fan? Where do I put the light? Should I put the light on top of the fan? So when the fan is running, you have that shadow cast? No. Those are the engineering concepts that you need to know by what? Sticking to one language and sinking yourself deep. When you have those things, you're welcome and you're going to go in backend
Wow.
engineering. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you so much, Gideon. That was really, really very descriptive. And I'm
Yeah.
sure that if anyone was listening to you, they'll get that because even me, I understood what you're trying to describe. So
Yeah.
thank you very much. And
Thank you,
guys,
man.
if you have questions for Gideon, feel free to drop them right in our chat box. So we have a lot of courses at Stacstart, formerly Conclase Academy, which you can, dive into and understand, right? And we always promote the fact that sometimes our students say, "Oh, I want to learn front end, I want to learn back end at the same time."
Yeah.
We always advise them to, first
Well,
of all, just stick with one, you know, and because your brain can get overstimulated and you just get exhausted and burnt out, right? We just advise that you stick to one. We have front end engineering, we have Python, we have AI and machine learning, which you can dive into if you're looking to get into tech, you know. And a good thing is that we have a 50% discount on all our courses right now, right? Let me see if I can get that out. So yeah, we have some courses already having a 50% slash. So for instance, you can learn backend engineering for 150K, which means that you're going to pay 25K every month. I'm sure Gideon paid 50K every month.
yeah, yes, you remembered. Yeah, I did.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
we're just giving you guys that chance to get into the system, trying to remove the barriers that some people might have as regarding financial challenges, right? And we're doing that for everyone on this call. So feel free to get into the system and always feel free to ask us questions. I'm sure Gideon is somewhere on LinkedIn as well. Gideon, your name,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Gideon.
Yeah, my name
Yeah.
Gideon Issa. Yes, the suit. You see me with the
Uh,
suit. Yeah,
Yeah. So Gideon is also part of our community. We can always, reach out to him. He's very generous with his advice, I
yeah.
guess. And you can see that he's quite an illustrative teacher. I really love that about Gideon. So guys,
Thank you.
thank you very much for joining this session. We don't want to, stretch it too long. Let us know if you have questions, anything. You can always reach out to me and I would convey them to Gideon and we'll move back and forth and we'll get it to you, right? We just want to make sure that Africa as a whole is competing at the very reasonable range with the world, right? We want to be able to train a lot of people to challenge themselves, to build tech skills, to make sure that they are growing exponentially. And that's why Stacstart is here for you, right? We don't just want to just teach you and just leave you. We want to also put you in positions where you'll be able to use what you've learned and advise you, for instance, for mentorship and every other thing that you might have, right? So we are glad that you are taking a step, first of all, to join meetings like this, to register on our website, all those things. And we believe that one step towards success would always count as you continue to progress. And we wish you the very best. I'm Oba from Stacstart. That's Gideon. I have the Stacstart team on the call as well. I think I have Abib and a couple of other representatives from Kenya, Uganda, and the likes. And we want to wish you all the best. And we are open to feedback and suggestions on webinars you might want us to create topics on, topics that you want us to shed more light on. We're happy to do that as well. Just reach out to us at info@stackstart.com. You can log onto our website as well, www.stackstart.com. You can find us on socials and you can also send a message to the email that reached out to you and also the WhatsApp as well. Thank you very much for doing this with us. I hope to see you guys in sometime. Thank you, Gideon. Thank
Thank
you.
you,
Thank you.
Abba. Thank you, everyone, for coming in. We
Thank
appreciate it.
Take care.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.